Alright folks, welcome back. Today, got a little something different here for you. Got my boy JC here with me. We're 2 days away from the MLB season starting, so we're going to break down what we think is going to happen. Alright, so this year, obviously COVID screwing everything up. So we got something a little different, MLB-wise. This year, they're going with what I'm going to call a round-robin style season. So they're playing 60 games. 40 are against the teams within their division. Then they're playing 20 of the opposite league's division. So the AL East playing the NL East. So on and so forth. Today, we've gone through. We've done a little math. We've tried to figure out what we think each team's record might be, where they might land. And we're going to break it down division by division for you. Give you our picks. Who's going to win what division. We get into how we think each team's going to do. Obviously, professional sports. Players move around. People want money. People want to play for different teams. JC's going to break down what we think are the 5 biggest moves during the offseason this year.
All right, so first off, we have the mega trade that left multiple fan bases scratching their heads, the Mookie Betts to the Dodgers trade, giving them two of the top 5 outfielders in the game in the same outfield, depending on how they play them all. Then we have, not too far down the road, we have former World Series champion third baseman Anthony Rendon headed to the Angels to form a very scary 2-3-4 with, that Trout guy and Ohtani. Then we have arguably the best pitcher in the game, Garrett Cole, headed to New York. Being a Red Sox fan, that's really good. To play for the Yankees and hopefully get him out of the ALCS for once, but we'll see about that. Then we have Madison Bumgarner staying in the NL West and traveling from San Fran to Arizona, giving them a dependable number 1 starter and proven in the playoffs. Then we have NLDS loser Hyunjin Ryu headed from the Dodgers to the Blue Jays to hopefully give them a pitcher that can last longer than 3 innings in a regular season game.
First up, JC's going to lead us off with the AL East here.
The AL East. What a division, man. Okay, so for running through 1 through 5, I had the Yankees coming in first, the Tampa Bay Rays coming in second, the Sox in third, Red Sox, the Toronto Blue Jays in fourth, and the Orioles in fifth. Obviously, the Yankees are going to run away with it, because they have Garrett Cole, and you don't really need anybody else. Anyway, the Rays in second because they arguably have the best 1, 2, 3 the best 1 through 3 in their rotation in the MLB. And, their offense, a bunch of under-the-radar guys. The Red Sox in third, they don't really have a single person that can throw a strike. But they got Devers, Benny Biceps, and JD. So that's pretty good right there. Toronto Blue Jays, if your season record was based off of how you did in the home run derby, they'd go 60-0. But they have to pitch. And I can't name one pitcher in the Toronto Blue Jays rotation. Well, Ryu, but besides him, I can't.
I was just going to say, you literally just named one.
Okay, then we got the Baltimore Orioles. I'm honestly surprised that the MLB kept them in their league for this season. I'd honestly be truly shocked if they won over 10 games. And they don't have Manny Machado, and they don't have Trey Mancini, and they don't have Manny Machado. So that's it for the AL East.
I took a little different route. I also kept the Yankees at 1, Rays at 2. Very similar reasons. When you have Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and LeMahieu, it's going to be hard to lose when you also have Garrett Cole pitching. Rays, obviously, 2 as well. Good pitching. Couple under-the-radar hitters that can produce some runs. I went with the Jays over the Red Sox. I don't see the Red Sox without Mookie being able to be that much of a force as they were last year. I think between that, David Price, and a hurt rotation, they're going to struggle to pick up some wins. And Orioles in last. No, nothing else need to be said there. So former Orioles fan, been through that. AL Central. This one was a little tough for me. I think Indians, Twins, and White Sox all will be very tightly intertwined. Tigers, Royals, I don't think will be much of a force in the division. And especially with it being a lot of inter-division play, I think these teams will become very hard to play against in the playoffs because they will be very well tuned. I chose to put the Indians first. I think they overall will win out. And I went with Twins 2, White Sox 3. Honestly, don't really have a reason other than the little research I did. That's what a lot of other people are picking. And I don't have a reason to go against it. I don't have a reason to go for it. But I'm going to trust the money lines here. And then put the Tigers over the Royals because neither have really been that relevant, but I think the Tigers have a little bit more just to push them over the edge to get the 4 spot.
So for the AL Central, I had a flip at 1 and 2. I had the Twins first, the Indians second, the White Sox third, and the Tigers, the Royals fourth, Tigers fifth. I like the Twins. I think they have a top 5 lineup in the MLB. They got Nelson Cruz. He's probably going to hit 30 homers. They have Barrios probably going to throw 3 no-hitters. They got Donaldson now. They have Sano. Bat 220, but he'll hit 47 bombs. So the Indians coming in at 2. They have the best player in the division, Lindor. They have Jose Ramirez. They have one of the more underrated pitchers in the league, Bieber. The White Sox coming in at 3, one of the best young teams in the league. They have the AL batting champ last year, Anderson. They have
AL West.
So the AL West, starting it off 1 through 5, we have the Astros coming in first. We have the Billy B Moneyball Oakland Athletics coming in at 2. We actually have the Rangers and the Angels tied, but I think the Angels are a better team, so I'll have them at 3. The Rangers at 4, and the Seattle Mariners at 5. Obviously, the Astros, they have the best team in the division. As fake as their success may or may not be, you got Springer, Bregman, Correa, all those dudes. Still got Verlander. The Athletics at 2, they have Chris Davis. He'll bat 247 again, because he always does. They have Chapman. Manaea will no-hit the Red Sox, even though they don't play them. 3, the LA Angels, top 5 player of all time. Well, no. Okay, one of the best players of all time, Mike Trout, Ohtani, and Rendon. The Rangers at 4, they have Joey Gallo. He'd probably bat like 170, but he'll hit 30 homers, so it's all fine. The Mariners coming in at 5. I got to be honest with you. You have a good football team, but I'm not sure how the Mariners are considered a professional baseball team.
I also, Astros won. As Jack said, fake or not, their success, they still have a good lineup. They're 1 through 9 can all hit. They have Verlander. They have pitching. With interdivision, I think that benefits them, just by having to play the Dodgers. 2, I took the Athletics. Obviously, Jack kind of threw a little hint there at Moneyball. I think they have some real potential, and I think they will sneak up into the 2 with the interdivision play. Angels, I had them not tied with the Rangers, but also at 3. Obviously, a couple big moves over the offseason. They still have Trout. I think they will be a dark horse team, might even slide into the playoffs. Rangers 4 and Mariners 5 as well. Honestly, they can produce, but I don't think they'll produce enough. So, Astros 1, A's 2. That's pretty much all you need to know AL West, in my opinion. NL East. I'm really thinking the Braves, once again, going to pull out a division title. I mean, when you have Acuna, Freddie Freeman, kind of hard to lose when you're consistently producing. I have Nats at 2. World Series, short season. I think they will definitely be able to get some production out of that lineup. I have a dark horse Mets at 3. Between Pete Alonso, Conforto, I think they could be a team to really put up some numbers on the short season here and maybe even slide into a second wildcard spot if they can knock off some teams. Do a little better than I think. Got 4 as the Phillies. You still have Harper, but I don't think with a short season they'll be able to produce enough to be a force to be considered a playoff contender. And you have in 5 the Marlins. I mean, 14 years in the division, no division titles. I don't see that changing this year.
So for my order, I had something slightly similar, not entirely. I had the Braves coming in at 1. They have Acuna, Freeman, Albies, and they lost Donaldson, but they have Ozuna too. So that's pretty top tier offense right there. At 2, I had the Phillies at 2. The Philadelphia Phillies coming in at number 2. I think Bryce Harper can only step up his performance. He was still pretty good last year, but, $245 for a $330 million dude. Not really going to cut it all that much. 3, I had the defending world champs Nationals. I think the loss of their best offensive player is going to hurt them, although they still have 2 of the best pitchers in the game, Scherzer and Strasburg, and Soto in the outfield, so that's pretty good. At 4, but probably the best team to finish 4th in any division will be the Mets. They have a top 3 pitcher in the league and a top-tier first baseman. He probably won't hit. It'll be impossible for him to be as good offensively as he was last year, but Alonso. And then 5th, I have the Marlins. Had it been 2013 with Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna, they might have been actually able to do well, but I don't see that.
NL Central, what we would probably consider one of the most loaded divisions, right?
Probably the best division in baseball.
Yeah, probably. So, Jack's going to lead it off.
So, coming in at who I think will finish first, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. They made it to the CS last year. They obviously lost, but I think they have a pretty good team. Pretty under-the-radar team. Not many players that you would think of as top-tier offensive producers, but still a good team. Number 2, I had the Brewers. They have the best player in the division, Yelich. They have some pretty good young players coming up through the system, so I think they'll finish 2. At 3, I had the Cubs. They're always an up-and-down team, always pretty good at home. Can't really do much on the road, at least they haven't in the past. At 4, I have the Reds, who I think are actually on the come-up. They have one of the best corner infield tandems, Suarez and Votto. They have Bauer, too, which is pretty good. And at last, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, Josh Bell. I don't see it.
All right, so I varied a little bit. I think the Brewers will once again win the division. I don't see why they won't, with Yelich hopefully coming back healthy after missing a good portion of season last year. I think they will be another team to reckon with. I put the Cubs at 2. The Cubs are always in and around the top 3, fighting for a playoff spot. I don't see why this year will be any different, especially given the short season. I took Cardinals 3rd. I don't think they have it this year. I think they'll be a very influential team within the division, stealing some games that will probably frustrate some other teams and make it really difficult to gain any ground. 4, I have the Pirates. They're usually hit or miss. About 500 team usually. I think they will probably be probably a little under that, but still up there. And I put the Reds at 5. I mean, I haven't heard anything significant about the Reds in years. I don't see why this year will be any different. They're my number 5 team. Unless I see something early, I don't have any reason to believe they'll do any better than the Pirates at most. All right, NL West, home to my boy, the Dodgers. They're my team. If they don't do it this year, I don't know if they ever will. They have a solid 1-9. They have arguably the best pitching tandem in the league, and the shortened season only benefits their quick start, which is why I will think the Dodgers will hands down run away with the NL West. Number 2, I have the Padres. I think between Machado finally getting adjusted and Tatis, however you say it, I think they will be a surprising team. I think they will finish a lot higher than most people will, record-wise, and will steal the second spot. Rockies at 3. I mean, they still have Arenado. They still have who's the other player they have?
Story.
Still have Story.
Blackman.
They still have Blackman. I think they'll be good. Interdivision helps them. 4, I got the D-backs. I mean, yeah, they got Bumgarner, but I don't think they really have that much else to really be able to move up above Padres or the Rockies. And coming in 5th, got the Giants. Now, Giants usually hit or miss. I mean, I don't think they'll win that many games. They'll obviously steal 2 at home versus the Dodgers because they always do. It's always how it is. So Dodgers 1, Padres 2, Rockies 3, D-backs 4, Giants 5.
So for me, obviously, I had the Dodgers coming in at 1. I mean, there's no easy out in the lineup 1 through 9. Even a couple of their pitchers can hit. They got Kershaw and Buehler. I mean, at least in the regular season, that's about as good as it gets. Number 2, I have the San Diego Padres. They have one of the most exciting left side of the infields in the game, Tatis and Machado. You know, Machado's performance can only go up. He was pretty average there for most of last year. Number 3, I have the Diamondbacks. They have, Ketel Marte probably won't do what he did last year. He hit like 800, but they have Escobar there, who's always up there in the league in RBIs. Coming in at 4, I have the Rockies. You know, they have Arenado, Blackman, and Story, but you gotta pitch to win some games too, and I don't really feel confident in them enough to do that. And then coming in at last, it's not 2014, 2012, 2010. I have the Giants coming in at last. Besides Buster Posey and Mike Yastrzemski, I can't even name a player on their team.
And you got Posey this year opting out.
He opted out.
Yeah, so who even is there left in the Giants? So obviously, once you get to the 60-game regular season, we still gotta get to a champion. We're gonna start off AL here. My 1 through 5. Yankees 1, Astros 2, Indians 3, home wild card, Athletics, away wild card, Twins. Although I have the Athletics ranked higher, I think the Twins will take the wild card game. And my only reason behind that is they have a tougher interdivision regular season. I think they'll be more ready come playoffs. I think they'll be playing better baseball, and they'll be able to steal away the 1-game playoff versus the A's. Although I don't think they will be able to get past the Yankees. When you get into a playoff series, I don't think they have it. Yankees obviously have Cole, have more depth pitching, players I can't even name, not being an AL follower. On the other side of the bracket, I have the Indians being the Astros. Yes, the Astros will probably run away with the AL West, but that's the exact reason why I think it'll hurt them. I think the Indians, having to compete with the Twins and the White Sox all year, will be a little bit more ready, and that will get them on to the ALCS. And then I have the Yankees beating Indians. I mean, I just think that's a clear choice. I don't see anyone in the AL that will really be able to knock off the Yankees, no matter how easy the division ends up being or not being. I just think they will be ready to play come playoffs, and they will walk right through the AL.
So for my playoff bracket, I have, seeding 1 through 5. I have the Yankees coming in at 1, the Astros 2, Twins coming in at 3, and then I have my home wild card as Cleveland and my visitor as Tampa. I think Tampa will get by Cleveland just because they can throw any of their top 3 pitchers at you and still have the pitching edge. I don't think that Tampa will beat the Yankees, because of the Yankees lineup is outrageous. I think I want to pick the Twins over the Astros, but I just have to pick the Astros. You know, they got Springer. When Springer hits the playoffs, he's unreal. The Yankees will take down the Astros in the ALCS, and then what do we do? In the NL side of the bracket, I have the Dodgers coming in at 1. I have the Braves coming in at 2. The Cardinals coming in at 3. And I have the Brewers hosting the Nationals in the wild card game. I think the Nationals will get by them just because, you know, they have Juan Soto. And when you have that, you don't really need anything else. And Cardinals and the Braves, as talented as they are, they always struggle in the playoffs, or at least over the last couple of years they have. So I have the Cards getting by them, the Dodgers beating the Cardinals, and then the Yankees beating the Dodgers in the World Series.
My NL, Dodgers 1, Brewers 2, Braves 3, Nats at Padres. I think the Padres will beat the Nationals. I think they'll have a better regular season. They'll have a tougher interdivision. And I don't think the Nationals will have it this year come wild card the way they did last year. I think they will lose to the Dodgers in the ALDS. As I said earlier, I don't think the Dodgers can be stopped. And if they are, they won't win at all. This is their year. I have the Brewers beating the Braves in the ALDS. I think the Brewers will really be able to turn it up this year. I mean, there's been years where Brewers and Dodgers have been neck and neck, and the Dodgers have snuck it out. So I don't know how else they'll get beaten. And I think the Dodgers will beat the Brewers. I think the Dodgers are going all the way. I have Dodgers over Yankees. I'll stick with it. I'm a Dodgers fan, so if they don't do it this year, they're not going to do it. Thank you for joining us today on the one and only Dual Coast Bros. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a like, drop a subscribe. We're hoping to bring you some more content. Stay tuned. Sports are coming back finally, so hopefully we'll be getting you some NHL coverage. MLB coverage as the season gets through. Who knows? Maybe we'll bring on some more special guests, get some NBA and NFL stuff going here. Tyler's also got some great stuff planned, so sorry for the delay in getting some videos out, but we're back. We're ready to go. So thank you for joining us today.